Paul the Apostle says in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 12, he says, "For this reason I also suffer these things, nevertheless I'm not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed and am persuaded that he is able to keep what I have committed to him until that day." Notice first of all, Paul says right here, "For I know whom." I know whom. Paul, in his writings, he doesn't always know why. He doesn't always know like when the Lord's going to do something. He doesn't always know where. He doesn't always know what. But he says this, "I know in whom I have believed." He says, "I know that, Timothy. I know in whom I have believed." Like there's a lot of stuff that I do not know, but I know him. I know him. In fact, he's going to tell Timothy in the 4th chapter, "When I stood before Caesar, nobody else was there with me the first time." And he's basically saying, I'm not going to judge anybody for that, but listen, nobody stood with me. But I know that Jesus was with me. Paul says, "I know in whom I have believed." Paul said, "The first time that I stood before Caesar Nero, Jesus was there with me." And listen, this idea is so important because we can really get in the Christian rut. I can get into it as well sometimes. Doing the Christian thing, the Christian routine. I got to go and do this and study that. I got to read here. I got to go to church. I got to get this stuff done. And I'm doing all of these things, but so often I can kind of be neglectful about some of the more important things, like taking time to rise early or stay up late or sit alone in the park somewhere, just kind of get into that prayer closet with the Lord, with Him alone, just to hear Him. Those are the most amazing times. And that's really what we were made for, to walk with Him, to be with Him, to enjoy Him. The reason that God gave His only begotten Son was so that He could restore that relationship of fellowship that was there in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. And so we can come to Him and we can cast all of our cares upon Him, make our requests made known to Him, and know that He's our Father and that we're His children. And so for the believer, because our sin has been removed, we can come and, like Paul, say, "I know in whom I believe." I know Him like that. Do you know Him like that?